Today is Thursday, April the 2nd. For many of you, today is your fourth day of learning from home or remote learning, and you already may be getting tired of it. So let me introduce to you Kennedy Kasiki. Kennedy, who is in Pastor Brandon's remote learning class, learns much of the way that you do, remotely, from home. But after 8 p.m., the power goes out for the rest of the night, and so he has to continue his learning with the use of his flashlight on his cell phone. He's got some pretty significant limitations to his remote learning. So let me challenge you to be thankful that you are able to finish your schooling through remote learning, even if it is at home. And be grateful that you're able to do it during the day with power and lights from the comfort of your own home. You guys know my name. I'm a spiritual orphan adopted by the Father, placed here on earth to help people follow Jesus. And as always, Lord willing, let's get to it. Psalm 46, 1 through 3 says this: God is our refuge and strength, a very present help in trouble. Therefore, we will not fear, though the earth gives way, though the mountains be moved into the heart of the sea, though its waters roar and foam, though the mountains tremble at its swelling. Sometimes life can seem like a catastrophic change, like we're in an earthquake in our life, and things are turning upside down, and we are greatly shaken. The stability of our finances, the stability of our church and school gatherings, the stability of normacy, the stability of our life's plans, they remain uncertain and shaken. But it is in the middle of those earthquakes that God's people need not fear. In verse 2, it says, therefore, we will not fear. And the reason why God's people need not fear is because of who God is. And verse 1 tells us that God, Elohim, is our refuge. And that word refuge has the meaning of a stable fortress where we are able to run and take shelter from danger. So you can take shelter in God, who is the great stability in all of life's shaking. Elohim is our refuge. Trust him. Put your full hope and your full expectation upon him, for he is our rock solid refuge. Yesterday we asked the question, what is the contrast of focus between Jesus and his disciples? And the answer is whose kingdom they were focused upon. Jesus was laser focused upon his Father's kingdom, about the mission he was given on the cross to pay for and enact all of the promises of salvation, while the disciples were focused on their own kingdom. Right after Jesus tells them about his death and his resurrection, we see the disciples arguing and having a conversation about who is the greatest. What contrast between them? Jesus is having a conversation about his death and his resurrection, while the disciples are having a conversation about who is the greatest. Following Jesus means being focused not on our own kingdoms, but on his kingdom and the mission that he gives to us. And that is taken from Matthew chapter 8, verses 19. And it says this: we exist to make and mature disciples of Jesus Christ for the glory of God. Simply put, that is to follow Jesus and help others follow Jesus for the glory of God. And what helps us to do that, to be laser focused in our mission, to focus on God's kingdom, is humility. C.S. Lewis quotes this: humility is not thinking less of yourself, it is thinking of yourself less. Did you notice what Jesus said in verse 25? Right after the disciples were arguing about who is the greatest, he calls them together and he says this: if anyone would be first, he must be last of all and servant of all. Followers of Jesus are laser focused on his Father's kingdom, his mission for us and not our own. And what helps us to stay focused is humility. So we have to ask ourselves, is there an area in my life where I need humility, where I need to be more humble? Followers of Jesus Christ seek to be humble people. Today's reading is from Mark chapter 10, verses 17 through 31. Today's question is, what kept the rich man as just a fan of Jesus and not a follower of Jesus? And then, how does that apply to you as you follow Jesus? Today we are praying for all the bosses out there, all of the leaders, all the school administrators, all of the business bosses, all of the pastors. We are praying for you for decisions that you need to make in uncharted territory. If you haven't noticed, there's some really nice pockets of weather outside. Hopefully there's more to come. So go ahead, take a walk outside, get some fresh air and some sun. It will do you really good. Today is another day to follow Jesus. From home, from work, wherever you are, the call to follow Jesus stays the same regardless of wherever you are and whatever you are doing. Lord willing,